Jets win! What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and the New York Jets win over the Philadelphia Eagles at home, 20-14. What a game. First off, sorry that I look disheveled. I have a 6-week-old and a 1-year-old. You can excuse me. That is some of my son's spit up right on my shirt right there. That doesn't matter. The game that we all just watched was a tale of two stories. A tale of the most dominant defense in the NFL versus an offense that is struggling mightily on the offensive line and in the wide receiver room. And we'll get to both of those things in a second. Let's start by talking about the NFL officiating, because I have to talk about how bad, absolutely atrocious NFL officiating has been in New York Jets games all year long. This team has every right to be 4-2 right now, because we should have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs, and we had to have the NFL gods on our side to overrule some of the things that this NFL officiating team has been doing this game. There's not enough evidence to overturn what was very clearly ball movement and not control of the ball on the A.J. Brown massive reception, but there is enough to overturn the stop on the 1-yard line and the Jalen Hurts touchdown. Come on. Everybody and their mom could see that the NFL officiating crew wanted the Philadelphia Eagles to remain undefeated and not to lose to the New York Jets. Everybody. Now, I'm not saying that it's a massive conspiracy or not, but there is too much evidence of NFL officiating calls going against the Jets that we know we would never get that call in a million years. Whether it's still not being on the positive side of the roughing the passer call, and I'm not saying anything particularly in this game. Zach got sacked 5 times. That's on him. We'll talk about Zach a little bit later. There wasn't any egregious, missed roughing the passer calls today for the New York Jets. But just absolutely insane when it comes to the NFL officiating. But that's besides the point. The New York Jets were able to go out there, and specifically the defense was able to go out there and beat 3 teams today. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles, the Zebras, and the New York Jets offense, if we're being serious about it. But let's talk about the offense and the struggles that are coming from the offense. And another player is hurt in Joe Tippmann. Now, we do not have any information in regards, as of yet and as of recording this video, on what happened to Joe Tippmann, whether he's out for the season, how long his injury is, what type of injury it is. All we have is that it's a leg injury, and that's it. I don't know and don't have any other information in regards to Joe Tippmann. But Wes Schweitzer comes in, and now a right side of the offensive line that used to be a really strong unit with AVT and Joe Tippmann on that side when we moved Mekhi Becton over to the left side, and an offensive line that was starting to gel together has now lost another offensive lineman. And the only interior offensive lineman that we had left was Wes Schweitzer, and it immediately became prevalent that Max Mitchell and Wes Schweitzer on the right side of the offensive line was a problem. It was a problem the entire game. Max Mitchell kind of got exposed. Now, I'm not ready to give up on the kid, but man, you have to play against the best defensive linemen, and that's what the Eagles have, and you have to be able to keep up and to maintain protection, and he just didn't. And Wes Schweitzer just couldn't handle Fletcher Cox at all game, got bullied, and we see some of that in the 5 sacks that Zach got. Another thing that led to those sacks was outside of Garrett Wilson, none of the pass catchers seem to be getting any type of separation when it comes to man-to-man coverage. It almost seems like for wide receivers that aren't named Garrett Wilson to get open in this offense right now, they need to be schemed open against zone, because when you're playing man against the New York Jets, our guys just aren't getting open regularly and consistently. And this isn't me coming up with an excuse for Zach. when guys can't get and create that separation, you have to put the ball in a place where only your guys can get it. And Zach Wilson has a tendency to hold onto the ball a little bit too long. We saw that 5 sacks today, but we also saw that he has the ability to place the ball in the right place when he has to. The Tyler Conklin pass on, I think it was 2nd and 16 to get the 6 yards that we immediately lost on a false start. Like, a lot of those things. And then it comes down to the penalties, man. We get into the red zone, we get a penalty, and then it becomes unattainable. We had 9 straight red zone appearances without a touchdown. And if the New York Jets didn't get an interception by Tony Adams at the end of the game that put us on like the 6-yard line, I still don't think we would have scored a red zone touchdown. Now, that's not taking anything away from the Philadelphia Eagles defense. They are really good, but they lost a linebacker, they lost a corner, they lost another corner, they lost a safety, they lost a defensive lineman. Like, it was a tale of injuries on the defensive side of the ball for both teams. And for us to not be able to take advantage of that, for us to walk out of that game with 1 touchdown is just not good enough. The defense did more than enough for us to hang up 40 on the Philadelphia Eagles, but Zach Wilson, the offensive line, the wide receivers, and Nathaniel Hackett just weren't good enough today against a really good defense, and that's something that we need to address during the bye week. Nathaniel Hackett likes to call it the gold zone. Well, that should be what we do over the next 2 weeks, and that's it. Breece Hall with a quiet day, if we're being honest. 12 carries for 39 yards, but, 1 touchdown, and that's what matters, really. Zach Wilson, a really quiet day as well. 19 of 33. That is a 57.5% completion percentage, 186 yards, 5 sacks. Just not good enough. And then the receiving and pass catchers, outside of Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, we didn't have anyone doing anything. Garrett Wilson got 8 receptions for 90 yards, and Breece Hall caught 5 balls for 54 yards. Great games by them, but everybody else was really, really quiet with a couple of drops and just bad situational play from our pass catchers all game. Now let's talk about this defense, because this defense, I do not care what team you support, what fan you are. I do not care. The New York Jets are one of the premier defenses in the NFL. The New York Jets lost our top 3 outside corners. We were playing a slot guy on the outside in Michael Carter. We had 2 practice squad guys out there. We had safeties playing in the slot. We were doing everything in our power to get the secondary working, and it did. We held Jalen Hurts and that offense to 280 yards through the air. Now, I know what you're going to say. Wow, that's not really holding. When you take into consideration that our starting outside corners was Breece Hall, a guy that some of us wanted to cut this offseason, and 2 practice squad guys, that is a massively impressive thing. And outside of A.J. Brown, the rest of the Philadelphia Eagles pass catching core was kind of quiet. Yeah, you got 44 yards out of Devontae Smith, 42 yards out of Dallas Goedert, 40 yards out of DeAndre Swift. That all happened, of course, but still, to be able to keep that team from scoring touchdowns, to be able to go in there and get 3 interceptions with practice squad secondaries is a massive indication of just how good and how well this defense is coached, but just how good this defensive unit is as a whole. We got to start at the defensive line. Absolutely phenomenal. Bryce Huff, extend the man this bye week. Just give him the long-term extension. Give him the Carl Lawson contract. Literally, what you gave Carl Lawson, that exact same contract, give to Bryce Huff. Carl is not going to be on this team next year, and there's good reason for that. Bryce Huff has shut me up specifically because I said I do not think that the Jets are going to re-sign him, and I said I don't think that the New York Jets should, for a situational third down pass rusher. It kind of doesn't make sense to invest $8, $9, $10 million into something like that. And week after week after week, his role has expanded, and he has shown us that he is not just a third down pass rusher, but he can also play the run effectively. And he showed us that by getting, 2 solo tackles and a tackle for loss, being there in run situations, and being a guy that isn't a massive liability, which is kind of what he was and what he was pegged to be. Extend the man. He deserves it. Someone that's not going to get credit for how absolutely insane of a game he had is going to be Jermaine Johnson. 0 sacks on the day, 2 total tackles, and both of them being solo tackles does not matter. 2 interceptions this game were caused by Jermaine Johnson. The ball he knocked out that Quinnen Williams got in an interception, and the Bryce Hall interception where he tips and gets to Jalen Hurts' arm. Absolutely phenomenal there. But and don't forget, in the first period, the pass deflect. Jermaine Johnson, this was his breakout game. This is him putting the rest of the NFL on notice. He is legit. There was a reason I had him as edge 1 in that draft, and the fact that he fell so far into the mid-20s is absolutely insane to me, and I'm so happy that we were able to get him. But plays out of everybody today. Quentin Jefferson with a half sack as well, sharing that sack with Bryce Huff. Interceptions by who was it again? Interceptions by Tony Adams at the end of the game to win the game for us. Quinnen Williams and Bryce Hall, absolutely phenomenal. Greg Zuerlein, automatic today. We had that one scare where he barely squeaks it through. 4 field goals and 0 extra points because we didn't need to ask him to do that, but he scored a majority of our points today, 12 points. Thomas Morstead, absolutely phenomenal. He pinned the Philadelphia Eagles inside of their own 23 times today when our offense couldn't get going. Quincy Williams continues to show that he just might be the best linebacker in football right now. If not the best, that's probably a little bit hyperbolic, but one of the best linebackers in football right now. 12 total tackles, 9 of them coming as solo tackles. A huge tackle for loss at the end of the game there to keep the drive alive. Almost an interception that I think would have turned into a pick 6, because if he would have caught that ball, he would have been running downhill, and I don't think anybody would have caught him. Jalen Hurts is scary fast, so maybe Jalen catches him. But Jesus Christ, no one predicted Quincy to have this big of an explosive year, and he has been arguably our best player on defense, period. This team, we're going into the bye, so we get a time to relax. Everybody's blood pressure can drop. Everybody's heart rate can relax. And the good thing is that the gauntlet that is the New York Jets schedule gets easier moving forward. We get to relax. Hopefully, we get to get healthy and start to get some players back. Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, hopefully Joe Tippmann, and some of these other guys start to get healthy, and then we reach the relative easy part of our schedule. The New York Giants, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Atlanta Falcons, the Houston Texans, the Washington Commanders. These are the teams that we have during the back half of the schedule. We end the year with the New England Patriots again. Hopefully, we should be able to take advantage of what is a bad team. We are 3-3 going into the bye week, and a lot of us thought that this would have been a good bye week, a good situation by the bye week if we had Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. And with Zach at quarterback, we're 3-3. We should have beat Kansas City, and we saw how good of a game, how good we were in that game. And the reality is that we should have beat the New England Patriots as well if Zach didn't absolutely collapse. But this team has life. We're competitive and we can get things done. And with Aaron Rodgers is looking more and more healthy as time progresses, who knows? Maybe he comes back this season. I'm not hoping and I'm not wishing and I'm not going to believe in any of those stories until it happens. But holy crap, the New York Jets have life and the playoffs are well within our reach and within our grasp. Everybody's chasing the Miami Dolphins, and hopefully the Miami Dolphins can start to pick up some losses as the schedule progresses. Their schedule is going to start turning in terms of more difficult opponents. Philadelphia, Kansas City, and all of those things, and maybe they can start picking up losses because I think right now that is who we're chasing. Let's see what happens to the Buffalo Bills tonight, and hopefully they can lose so that the New York Jets can take the second place spot in the AFC East going into the bye week. A lot of exciting things. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Again, sorry that there hasn't been so much content. Life has been incredibly hectic with the newborn and the 1-year-old and school and just life in general. But let me know what you guys think about all of the stuff that's happening in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit this logo right here if you're not subscribed. If you want to watch more Talking Jets with Tigo content, hit this video right here. Thank you for watching, and last but not least, go Jets.